Hello, this is Katie with Homeschool Chat. And today is the fourth part of a five-part series called to Start the Homeschool Year. And today what we're going to talk about is learning styles and learning types. I'm going to go ahead and review really quick what we've done already and what we're going to do. Well, I guess that's not a review, but I'm going to tell you everything. So the first part, we talked about what do you plan for your homeschool year and what classes do you need for your child. That was part one. Part two is teaching a class in different ways and how long should your school day be. Part three was a description on how to write a syllabus and how to write lesson plans. Now this is part four. We're going to do learning styles and learning types, or learning types. And part five, I'm going to mock up a class year and mock up a class by class example and do a quick overview and also talk about teaching multiple students. So let's get right into it. Learning styles. That is your biggest friend. If you can tap into your student's learning style, that child will blossom. That's just the way it is. So let's talk about it. I printed out something that I found on the internet, and really quickly, I would like to tell you what they said the learning styles are. Visual, auditory, read, write in, I'm probably going to butcher this word, sorry, kinesthetic, anyway, I'm going to simplify it. And I think I have a little bit of a different opinion on how these things are combined. But it's reading and seeing, or reading and visual, is one learning style. Hearing, doing, or learning by doing, and writing. So your basically four styles and combinations. Your child will do combinations of those things. Reading and visual is one. Hearing, so auditory, is two. Learning by doing is three. And writing, which can be a combination, of course, of doing and seeing. So let's give you some examples that you can use. Schoolhouse Rock videos, you can find them on YouTube. They are basically they're less than 5 minutes, I think, TV shows. And that is an example of an audio visual. And some children learn really well with audio visual. I also have some examples, like live examples here. So this is a kit that our church made for Sunday school, and it is a Sunday school verse activity book. And basically it's the art assignment, and it helped the children to learn the verses. So it is a doing visual kind of an assignment, and it adds interest. This, of course, is a science kit and is an example of doing, learning by doing. And the kids that learn by doing, you might have to get a little bit creative so that they have to actually do something to learn what they're learning. Now this is wonderful, and I want to do a little plug here. This is Highlights Magazine, and this is, I would say, maybe good up to 8th grade, maybe even, yeah, it's pretty cool. It's a magazine, like an activity magazine, and it teaches the states, called Which Way USA. And it actually touches on reading, visual, learning by doing, and writing. Has games in it, and it follows a storyline for each state. So each magazine is a state. It's a great learning tool, and comes with the map, which I'm gonna show you the map because I thought it was cool. So there you go. They Highlights used to have another program, I guess you would call this maybe a program, that was called Top Secret Adventures, and that dealt with the world. So you learn about different countries in the world. And again, you could probably learn from that up to 8th grade or so. I kind of enjoyed it as an adult, but I can't really say that out loud, right? Anyway, this is another example of a very interesting workbook. Now, these workbooks aren't exactly grade level accurate, but they are such good workbooks, and I think that they still exist. They are very, very visual, very interesting, and they deal with learning styles of reading, doing, writing, and of course your visual. So these are great, and they go through, it's a combination of all the different subjects for that grade. Okay, so there's my share and tell. Some other examples. Making things into a game. So I think earlier, one of the shows that we did, I talked about how I had 2 students in the same grade. We had a textbook for science that was very businesslike. And the exercises at the end, there were a lot of exercises at the end. So to make it a little bit more interesting, I turned one of the exercises into an activity. And I had one student play a game against another student, and whoever got the question right first, I gave them money. Anyway, they loved it, and they learned a lot because they wanted to win. So that's another example. People that are, that's an example of doing, learning by doing. Another example that I have for learning styles, people that can read books and write reports. There's a very specific child that blossoms by learning this way, and that is a reading, writing learner. If you have a spelling book or spelling text, some of you may remember that the teacher might have you write a spelling word like 5-10 times, and then go to the next spelling word for the week and write it several times. And that is that writing, along with the textbook, takes care of the reading learning style and the writing learning style. And since you're writing, you're actually doing. The other thing I wanted to share is a podcast, learning by podcast. That's audio. TV is for audio visual learners, but if somebody is very strong in the learning style of listening or hearing, then podcasts would be perfect for them. Now, again, I want to stress that when you're teaching, you may be teaching just one student, or you may be teaching many, but when you're teaching, you want to vary what you do, because if you have an audio visual learner and you just set them in front of the TV all day long, it gets boring and children will lose interest. So you have to vary what you do. I also wanted to touch on another thing, explanations. When you are teaching, you will give an explanation of what you want the child to do or an explanation of what's going on with the text. If you'll have a child that does really well with directions and they just do the activity that you tell them to do. But then you'll have another child, and this kind of is a little spin-off of a learning style. You'll have another child that needs to know why. And those children, that's actually part of their learning style. There's an age of child that always asks why, but there's a type of learning, type of child that learns by learning why. And it has to do with how their brain thinks. So keep that in mind, as well as one other thing I want to mention. Some kids are easily bored. So varying what you do or how you set up each class is always a good idea. And I'm speaking this whole entire time about grades K through 12. It fits every age. Well, I think I'm about done for today. So thank you very much for watching. Have a blessed day. Bye.